Hey guys, Breakup Brad here. Welcome. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 of my very best tips to get a second chance with your ex. So if you're trying to get back together with your ex, this is going to be an absolute must watch. All 8 of these tips are effective. They're proven techniques that I've seen work for my coaching clients over and over again. So let's get started. Let's start with tip number 1, which is don't rush the process. Don't try to force it. See, most people in your situation, when you're facing the possibility of the person you love slipping out of your life forever, are feeling, desperate. It's a totally understandable, natural reaction after you've been dumped or gone through a tough breakup. You desperately want to do something, anything, to get your ex to change their mind and take you back. But the problem is, acting on that desperation or those post-breakup emotions is almost always a bad idea. You cannot rush the process of changing your ex's mind about breaking up. You cannot show any kind of desperation at all either, and not just during the early phases, but throughout the entire process. Because desperation is an attraction killer. Please trust me on this. I've seen many of my clients make this mistake despite my best efforts to talk them out of it. If you appear too desperate, if you try to push your ex by contacting them too frequently or begging and pleading with them, it's really only going to make your situation worse. So take a step back for a minute and think about things from your ex's perspective. Would you be attracted to a person who won't stop pestering you? Would you be attracted to somebody who seems like they have nothing else going on in their life except chasing after you? Would you be more or less likely to want to take somebody back if they begged and pleaded and tried to talk you into giving them another chance? Is that actually attractive behavior? Obviously, the answer to all of those questions is no. So by trying to rush the process, by trying to reach out to your ex frequently, trying to talk them into giving your relationship another try, you're really just pushing them even further away. So the moral of the story is, never ever get too excited or too eager around your ex. Don't try to force things or try to rush the process. Now let's move on to tip number 2 for winning your ex back, and that is to not underestimate the power of no contact. I know you've already heard about no contact, the idea that you just should drop off your ex's radar for a period of a month or so after the breakup. And the reason why you've already heard about no contact, the reason I've made a number of videos about this topic in the past already, is because it works. Now, why exactly is no contact so powerful? Well, to begin with, the strategy essentially shocks your ex into learning what life is like without you. So instead of, slowly fading out of your ex's life, you're forcing them to experience it cold turkey. They won't be able to just call you and chat whenever they miss you, and they won't be able to have, that feeling of comfort knowing that you're still around anytime they want to talk or hang out. So it's critical that you give your ex that kind of shock treatment rather than letting them slowly get used to life without you. And even beyond that, no contact is also the complete opposite of what your ex is expecting you to do. Most people tend to cling to their ex for as long as possible after breaking up. They reach out regularly, they try to stay friends, and they just generally end up serving as an emotional tampon for their ex. So by doing the opposite of what your ex is expecting you to do, you're taking control of the situation and you're shifting that balance of power in your favor. When you engage in a period of no contact, you have the power to decide when your ex gets to talk with you or hang out with you. And they're suddenly, facing a situation they didn't anticipate when they planned to break up. And this by itself is a powerful emotion for your ex that can make them second guess whether breaking up was a good idea or not. But perhaps even more importantly, no contact gives your ex time to let go of negative memories and emotions. As I've mentioned in past videos, we humans have a natural tendency to forget bad memories and let go of negative thoughts and emotions after a certain period of time. And this is just a natural coping mechanism that's evolved over thousands of years. We can't dwell on the negatives for long, or else we'll spend our whole lives in a state of depression. So use that tendency to your advantage by giving your ex time to start forgetting about the negative aspects of your relationship. This will happen on its own without you having to do anything other than engage in a period of no contact. And studies have shown this will peak around 30 days or so after the breakup. So by employing a month or so of no contact, you're allowing enough time for those negative emotions and memories to fade into the back of your ex's mind. This is basically like resetting your ex's brain to an emotional neutral state. And lastly, no contact gets you through the worst of your post-breakup emotions. It ensures that you don't reach out to your ex or do or say anything desperate or stupid that's going to set you back even further. And it even gives you time to focus on yourself, improving your own life so that you're feeling more confident and more attractive when the period of no contact ends and it's time to reconnect with your ex. So the moral of the story is, no matter how impossible it might seem to go weeks without even talking to your ex, no matter how much you might worry that your ex is going to forget about you during no contact, it is a proven effective technique that will increase your odds of getting your ex back in almost all situations. All right, tip number 3 is more aimed at when you're already completed a period of no contact. And that is to ensure that any conversations or hangouts with your ex are enjoyable for them. See, this is a mistake that I see my clients make on a daily basis. You've employed a period of no contact and you start to open those lines of communication with your ex again. You're exchanging text messages or phone calls, and then, eventually hanging out with your ex in person. And of course, you want them to take you back. So you try to talk about the relationship. You rehash old drama or disagreements from when you were still together. Now, usually people bring up topics like this for totally understandable reasons. Maybe you want to clear the air, show your ex how you've changed or how things will be different if you get back together. But in reality, this is not what you should be talking about with your ex. Trust me on this. If you want your ex back, you need to make every conversation and hangout with your ex enjoyable. You want your ex to end a conversation thinking to themselves, well, that was fun. You want your texts to make your ex smile or laugh when they read them. What you really do not want, under any circumstance, is to remind your ex of the problems that plagued your old relationship. You don't want them to end a conversation thinking to themselves, more drama again. You want your ex to have a good time when they see you or talk to you, not be reminded of old problems or disagreements from the past. So don't ever try to bring up, serious relationship topics with your ex until you're fully back together. Keep it light, keep it fun, and make it enjoyable for your ex. All right, tip number 4 for getting your ex back: don't show any signs of jealousy. You really don't ever want to show or outwardly display any kind of jealousy around your ex. I know that it's painful and upsetting to hear rumors that your ex has gone on a date with somebody new. And I know you desperately want to ask them about it, but you just simply can't. You honestly have to act like you just don't give a shit about your ex's love life since the breakup. Don't give really any sense that you're jealous about anything, even if you're feeling the complete opposite on the inside. Just pretend you don't care at all about who your ex is seeing or what they're doing in their spare time. As I just mentioned in the previous tip, it's crucial to avoid drama and just keep things fun for your ex. Obviously, jealousy isn't fun and it certainly isn't attractive. So do your absolute best never to show any kind of jealousy around your ex. All right, now let's move on to tip number 5. Spend as much time as possible with friends and family. Now, this is something that on the surface, might sound totally nonsensical. How can hanging out with your friends and fam actually help you get your ex back? But the longer that I've been in this business, and I've been a breakup coach for 14 years now, the more I see how valuable this actually is. So first of all, chilling with friends and family is usually enjoyable. It's a great way to keep your mind off of your ex and off of the breakup and just sort of live in the moment. This is especially true, if you actually avoid talking about your ex when you are with your friends and instead, just have fun hanging out. Secondly, you'll quickly find that hanging out with friends and family can be a powerful tool for rebuilding your own confidence and your own self-esteem. Your friends and family like you, at least I hope they do. And hanging out with people that actually enjoy your company is obviously a great ego boost. It'll make you feel more confident in yourself, and it'll help you realize that you really are an awesome catch for anyone of the opposite sex, including your ex, who would be crazy to let someone as well-liked as you just walk out of their life. Now, this is also a great time to reconnect with old friends that you maybe haven't talked to much recently. If there's somebody who you used to hang out with regularly that you've recently fallen out of touch with, well, reach out and spark up a conversation, revive that old friendship, or even just try to make new friends. Again, this is a confidence booster, but it's also a way to come up with new things to talk to your ex about or tell them about when you do see them and begin talking to them again regularly. You can tell them about how you recently saw an old friend, about the plans you've made with a new friend, and so on. So as much as it doesn't feel like it's going to help you get a second chance with your ex, do try to spend lots of time with people you like and keep yourself busy. All right, tip number 6 is a bit of a downer, but it has to be said. And that is, you need to stay realistic about your chances. Unfortunately, the simple fact is that not every relationship can or should be saved. Sometimes things might be so broken that it's just not possible to ever realistically have a chance at getting back together. I know that sucks to hear, but it is the truth. Many relationships can and should be revived, but in some cases, it's just not realistic or wise to even try. So how do you know whether your situation fits into this, beyond saving category? How do you know if you've still got a chance of turning things around with your ex? Well, honestly, the very best way to find out is to take my free 5-minute quiz. Just go to breakupbrad.com/quiz, answer a few simple questions about your breakup situation, and the quiz will evaluate your answers and generate a comprehensive report breaking down your chances and where you stand with your ex right now. Take the quiz right now or after the video is over, again at breakupbrad.com/quiz, and see for yourself whether there still is hope for winning them back. If the quiz says your situation is truly hopeless, which is usually fairly uncommon, but it does happen, then please think long and hard about whether you should continue to pursue your ex. Because in dire situations like this, it's usually best to start moving on and focus on finding somebody new rather than continuing to chase after an ex who either isn't right for you or isn't ever going to be willing to give you a second chance. Now, if your score on that quiz is in the low 60s or above, say you score anything over 62 or 63, that indicates that you still at least have a chance. And if you score above 75, then you have plenty of reason to be optimistic and you should still be able to get your ex back, assuming you play your cards right from this point forwards. And if your score is below 60, it's time to start thinking about moving on. Let's move on to something a little bit more uplifting with tip number 7. Be willing to play some simple mind games on your ex. And don't worry, I'm not talking about anything truly ridiculous or devious here. When I say mind games, I don't mean lying to your ex or anything like that. I just mean that it can be very useful to leverage basic human psychology to your advantage in order to get your ex back. So I'll give you a couple of quick examples. Firstly, let's talk about texting your ex. Don't always immediately reply to messages from your ex. Wait an hour or two, or even a full day before you reply, even if you're not actually busy when you receive their text. Remember, you're playing the role of a busy, confident person who's ready to move on. So if you're willing to wait a while before replying to your ex's texts, it'll make them wonder, what you were doing and subconsciously assume that you're out doing interesting stuff and living life without them. Along the same lines, be the one to end conversations. Let your ex send the last message in a back and forth texting exchange. Again, this isn't really sneaky or immoral stuff. You're just making a small effort to quietly be the one to end most conversations with your ex. It's a power play of sorts where you're asserting, your own value as a person and your confidence with life in general. This is attractive behavior for your ex, and it will subtly and subconsciously shift the way that they think about you in a positive way. As another example, let's look at what I call my covert jealousy tactic. Covert jealousy allows you to basically subtly hint to your ex that you might be dating again, even if you're not actually doing so yet. And you do that in a safe and effective way. It basically puts your ex under some pressure to decide if they're sure about the breakup, and it can often be enough on its own to make your ex decide to ask you for a second chance. This kind of urgency is critical to winning back your ex, so it certainly helps if you're willing to use a tactic like covert jealousy to your advantage. If you want to learn more about covert jealousy and how to use it on your ex, please consider signing up for my best-selling X Factor program at breakupbrad.com/buy. Basically, in short, if you're willing to use just a little bit of human psychology to your advantage by playing some sneaky but harmless mind games on your ex, it is going to help your cause. Tip number 8 to get your ex back is to focus only on the things you can control. Now, this is honestly good advice for life in general, but it's especially important when it comes to getting your ex back. You need to try your absolute best to avoid worrying about things that are actually out of your control. Did you hear a rumor that your ex has been dating somebody new? Well, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that, so it's out of your control. And therefore, it's not worth stressing about or even thinking about. Maybe you're worried that your ex, isn't posting sad lyrics and quotes on social media after the breakup. You're worried, that might mean they're not missing you or they've already moved on. But that kind of thing is just not a useful train of thought. It's out of your control. You can't change how they're feeling or, accurately read into what it means that they're not posting breakup quotes on social media. So that means it's just not worth worrying about. So push it out of your mind and focus only on things that you can control. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is 8 tips that will help you get a second chance with your ex. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. And thanks for putting your faith in my advice. I know it can feel hopeless at times, but if you put all 8 of the things that I covered in this video into practice, you're going to really improve your odds of getting your ex to come back to you sooner than later. If you need my personal help with your particular, unique or unusual breakup situation, you can sign up for my one-on-one coaching program at breakupbrad.com/coaching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing and leaving your comments and questions in the comment section below. Good luck out there. I'll talk to you again soon.